All right, guys. So I recently posted a community post saying, yo, drop your craziest, hottest underground takes for a video. And I got 333 comments. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get through all of them. However, hopefully the algorithm ranked them well. And I'm going to read through most of them. It's just 333 is crazy. You know, I'm going to go through them and react to your hot takes, let you guys know if I agree with you, and yeah, just have a good time, I guess. Anyways, at number 1, not really, just up top right now, it's Tay He said, hot take, nothing is more underground than coffee beans before coffee. I'm not gonna lie, I don't drink coffee. I have no idea what he means, but shout out to you, bro. Someone else said, people copying sounds is watering down the underground. I thought Xavier's So Bass getting popular was gonna push people to make more unique music, but instead they just beat the jerk sound to pulp. We need more unique artists pushing the boundaries of the underground instead of copying every trend and then abandoning it in a month. Okay, so I feel like this scene or whatever, I don't really like to say underground. I feel like I don't know where that term came from. A lot of these artists aren't underground. I feel like back in like 2016, 2017, when we would just say SoundCloud, but I feel like that term is very taboo now. That's why people don't say it. So these are really just like SoundCloud rappers. So what I'm trying to get at is, first of all, it's not that small. So when you say like the underground, like, you know, these people have hundreds of thousands or thousands of listeners. Some of them have like a million or two. You know what I mean? Like they're not. And when these artists get popular, it's just like any other scene. People copy it. The other thing about, you know, encouraging people to make unique music is people who make really unique music, they don't really get much recognition. Most people just call it ass, or they just actually stay underground. You know, think of an artist like High C or Black Cray. A lot of these artists, those guys will never be like front page mainstream SoundCloud, if that makes sense, but they still have dedicated fan bases that love them, etc. You know, you can even look at like a lot of the Plug and B people right now. They're very different. You know, it's kind of your fault if you just go on TikTok and find a bunch of like Walmart jerk rappers, you know what I mean? But I do agree that, yeah, you know, there are a lot of like clone-ish type of things. Blade is up there with Cardi and Chief Keef when it comes to being influential to the current underground scene. He really revolutionized autotune and the way it's used, and you can see traces of it all over the underground, making conventionally unpleasing music sound beautiful and majestic at the same time. So I think like what he's referring to is like the amateur sound and mix that Blade had back in the day. So first of all, what you gotta understand is everything at the time was really badly mixed, but that was cool, that was fire. That's what he's kind of getting at. He's saying specifically autotune though. I don't know about the use of autotune, but I do think he was very influential. I think a lot of artists like really mess with Blade's old stuff. I think that Blade's or Bladey, whatever you want to call him, his reputation currently is kind of like, it's stained not stained, that's a bad word. He's not as respected because his recent work it's just him just exploring new sounds, or just, you know, kind of like going into a new era. He's older, right? Look at the way he dresses, it's different. He's just in a different phase of his career. And you know, because he doesn't make like rap that's exclusively produced by like Rip Squad or these producers that everyone wants him to work with, I think people just don't check out his music as much. I feel the last album he dropped that was really like, oh shit, you know, I feel like people were like listening to, like, that was The Fool. The album was good, but Spider and Cold Visions, they're cool, but I don't know, I just don't think people were checking it out like that. And commercially, I don't think Blade will ever beat Ice Dancer. That album is amazing, by the way. So yeah, I agree with you. I just don't think it's him revolutionizing autotune. I think that just his old music. Next one. Okay, hear me out, but I feel like out of everyone in the underground right now, Molly Santana has one of the biggest chances to make it mainstream. She's been slowly drifting from her sound into a more commercially friendly sound, take the whole second half of her last album really, and has been succeeding heavily and will only make more connections. I feel like what makes the underground is the sound itself, not the numbers, and I can definitely see her switching up and dominating a more mainstream sound with just her own little twist on it. Okay, so I actually agree. I think that Molly Santana, she was never like on some really like different shit. And I think there was like one song, What Did I Do Today? My friend who listens to like strictly Kendrick Lamar and, you know, stuff from like very like Drake and very basic shit. That's not like that's not shade or anything. It's just the type of music he's into. I saw that song on his playlist. I was like, yo, you listen to this? Like, yeah, man, I liked it. It was cool. Like, damn. So yeah, I think she definitely has that potential. However, image wise, she has to switch it up a little bit because I don't think it matches that look. But I think, you know, she easily can. the other thing I would say is they did a very good job of breaking her. I feel like at first, they were just, man, they gave Babalam a bag, they gave our generation music a bag, But yeah, they were promoting her heavily. I still don't think I'm still very unsure whether or not they've made their investment back on her, but she was definitely one of the more marketed artists. I just think that for her to really go mainstream, she needs a big hit. And I think the other thing too is that, so this is kind of like a paradox. I think that she needs to separate herself musically, which would mean that she wouldn't be making more cookie cutter music, which she's actually good at doing. The reason for that is because a lot of people compare to artists just a certain artist, BK the Rula, and I think BK the Rula already kind of fills up that female rapper demographic. And what I mean by that is very few, women who rap make music that men actually want to listen to. Like, no straight man wants to listen to Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, you know what I mean, or Ice Spice. However, BK the Rula, a lot of dudes, like a lot of guys like her music. And I feel like that's the same thing with Molly Santana. She doesn't really make music that's like girl female rap, where it's like, I don't know, they're talking about just like stuff girls listen to, you know what I mean? So I think that's what really gives her a lot of potential. And yeah, I think she just needs, one big single, etc. I think she signed to Victor Victor, so we'll see how it goes, but really just gotta wait it out, I guess. Hot take: I know a lot of underground rap fans want to gatekeep their favorite artists, but there's no better feeling than seeing a rapper you mess with blow up. Alright, man, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I feel like when a rapper is hungry, alright, when they're struggling to put food on the table, they're sleeping on couches, that's when they make the best music. I feel like people gatekeeping a rapper does not stop it from blowing up. And if anything, that like rage bait on the internet promotes them even more. You know what I mean? Like when Kai Cenat reacted to Until Japan. Everyone being mad at him for reacting to Until Japan was more publicized than just Kai Cenat reacting to Until Japan, because he reacted to other artists as well, Someone said, that lucky pick is diabolical. Alright, let's scroll up. I don't know, man. Looks kind of normal to me. Laser might need a new flow soon. I feel like people are gonna call him DaBaby of the underground if you don't start moving a little different. So DaBaby, Polo G, these artists are known for kind of like sticking to the exact same formula, flow-wise, beat-wise, and he's kind of saying, yo, Laser might become that. So I actually disagree. If you've been following Laser's stuff, you'd see that he dropped a couple of singles where the flow is different. It wasn't the same like and it wasn't the same like distorted Gohan beats, And Laserdimn can really rap. Like he can really rap. So he'll be fine. If you listen to that Baby Kia song, he washed Baby Kia. He went crazy on that. So yeah, he has been doing different flows. I believe his manager also posted his story that his next album will be filled with different flows, and I think it'll do well. I feel like Laserdimn coming out with like a distinct sound, it's kind of not genius. It just worked really well because everyone kind of knew what he was, what his shtick was, and then branching out later once you're popular, just a great move. But most importantly, I think that Laserdim's personality really shines through. I think people just really like Laserdimn as a person. Out of all the rappers, on all these pages, there are only like a few artists that get posted organically, and those are Netspend and Laserdimn. Just, it is what it is. Another person said, there's never gonna be a 2021 Yeet again in the scene with distinct bangers, output, evolution, character. Nah, he a sign of the end times. There's no surpassing that. All right, so honestly, it's gonna be, I'm not gonna say there's no chance, but it's gonna be really tough. I feel like all the stars just aligned. Literally, that was when TikTok was a machine, and Yeet and TikTok were like bacon and egg. Is that what is it? Bacon and eggs? Sorry, ham and cheese. I'm not white. I don't know how these things go together, but they were just like, Yeet went crazy, and I feel like so many things went together or came together for him to do what he did. I think it could happen again, to be honest. But yeah, Yeet's run was definitely crazy. The cultural significance of Gabe and ASAP Bari. I actually have one of my first videos. It's on Gabe. You can go check it out. But I feel like ASAP, it's a little understated now, but I feel like for the most part, everyone acknowledges their influence. You know what I mean? I think that ASAP was like, before the internet started determining who blew up in like rap, before I feel like internet culture and streaming really took over, I feel like ASAP Rocky was the last artist to be like, yo. I think everyone knows they really influenced fashion. And yeah, I feel like that's why everyone still respects A$AP Rocky, even though a lot of his recent releases, you know, I'm excited for his album, but a lot of his like recent releases, they've been kind of like, I don't know, you know what I mean? He then said, now for the Gabe part, he was a part of an original. Okay, so I'll explain. Gabe was a part of this group called Uzi with this other dude, and they worked with Wiz Khalifa. They toured with him. They have a song with him too. They did a lot of stuff. They worked with Gabe worked with Lil Peep and Lil Tracy. Now he's like an Opium affiliate. You know, he's had a relationship with Travis Scott. So yeah, I just think he's very underrated, and I think kind of likes it that way. Someone else said, I feel like the image behind the music really dictates the music itself too much and sways how people feel about it, whether they know or not. I heard someone else say this before, but if Too Slimey didn't have the image he has right now, and instead was in those Soho circles, for example, Bleod is in, he would be taken so much more seriously because him and Bleod have very similar music, to be honest, but look at the difference in respect level for their music. Image is everything, what I'm saying basically. All right. So yeah, he's right. He's totally right. You know, Too Slimey is like this Mexican kid who probably does whippets, and I mean, Bleod probably also does whippets, but I don't know. He just has like that more. He's just in the right scene, has the right look, and he's totally right. I would say that Bleod is better than Too Slimey's, but yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of people listen to music or musicians because they see them as cool, and then they check out their music. You know what I mean? Or because they're cool, they get, you know, more behind a certain artist. Che is the only one in the underground actually doing something creative, and his next project is about to change the underground sound and start a new wave. Same with Swappa. Alright, so I'm gonna give you a hot take with Swappa, and I'm gonna say something about Che. So first of all, Che is an underground. He's signed to 10K Projects under Warner or something. You know what I mean? Like he's and I know I just dropped my Che video, so I'll keep it short, but I do agree. I think he's very, out of all those like 2021 artists, he's very creative, doing good. Swappa, I don't know. You know, Swappa to me is like, he's not that crazy. He's all right, but it's just like, just think of it like this. And you know, we were just talking about image. If Dom Corleone dropped the music that Swappa dropped, people were like, bro, this is mid. But just because it's like kind of like a new artist, I don't think Swappa has that it factor. But I do think he's capable of making decent music. Che is the best artist in the underground right now with no competition. I feel like Che is in the spot that Osama Sun was in when he dropped Osama Season Now. Osama Sun is one of the best underground rappers currently and is mad overhated because of the Ken Carson drama. I totally agree. I feel like Osama Sun is not really like Ken Carson at all, and that whole Ken Carson shit was so stupid. It was just a lot of like Playboy Cardi and Ken Carson fans that just weren't really clued in. But yeah, I think Osama is definitely like top. All right, so this guy just wrote a lot, and I want to acknowledge that. I appreciate his comment, but I'm not reading. Actually, fuck it. I'll go over it a little bit. Big hot take here. Underground rap / cloud rap era is long gone, and the exclusivity / freshness of the music coming out now is garbage. Here are the reasons I believe this. Number one, aside from a few standout tracks from some of the artists mentioned amongst these comments, I feel like the majority of the music being put out is extraordinarily stupid and disingenuous to a huge degree. I don't know about like everything. He also mentioned the attention spans of listeners. I mean, they're young people. I feel like that was back even 2016, 2017. His last point is true. Finally, I've seen a lot of newer rappers that are trending in the underground are actually younger than what we were seeing coming up in 2015, 2016, 2017. I feel like that's because making music is just more accessible now more than ever, and it'll only get more and more accessible. So, you know, there are a lot of kids in their room who are just making music. But because these people are so young, their music taste is growing like that. So I do think there's a point where people will fall off faster than they would normally. Fago's has been next up since I started in high school. Dog, I have a whole ass job now and I'm about to move out. I mean, that's not really a hot take. Not gonna lie, Lucky is one of the few underground rappers without serious allegations. He actually had an allegation back in the day. It was pretty serious, but he just kept it pushing. And yeah, they never went on with it, and it was pretty much proven fake. If SoFago dropped a good album between 2020 and 2021 and stayed consistent, he would have been bigger than Ken Carson and Yeat. So the whole conversation with SoFago is like really like over, played. But I feel like SoFago, let me just take a picture of his releases. This guy was dropping tapes like every other day, and then all of a sudden he just went ghost for like 2 years almost. Of course, the whole Astro World stuff happened and all that, but when he dropped it wasn't good. It is what it is. And I think if he didn't need to drop like how Yeat was dropping. He just should have dropped like a couple of projects and he would have been straight. He would have been so straight. But yeah, take, Ken will never surpass Yeat under the Opium label, and Yeat will headline festivals like Rolling Loud in a few years from now if he continues this run. Reasoning 2093 did more numbers than AGC, and it was an experimental project. Imagine if he catered to his fans and worked with Tragic and made similar songs to I Don't Give a Fuck, Drake. All right, so I totally agree. Actually, a lot of these takes are pretty tame takes, like nothing crazy. But yeah, I feel like Yeat is definitely bigger than Ken Carson. I don't think Ken Carson to surpass Yeat, he would just need a stronger catalog, to be honest. And anyways, but it's more than that. You know, I feel like right now what Ken Carson just sold was like his max. Like, I don't think we're gonna see him selling more than this. It's really hard to like progress. You gotta be very, very, very like on it. And you know, the other thing is he's done this whole progression while Cardi has been dormant. And I feel like the moment Cardi drops, it's gonna be it's gonna be hard for him to just keep going, because all of his fans are bigger fans of Cardi for the most part. I know some of you guys are gonna be like, man, I really like Ken Carson more. Like, I'm talking about for the most part, you know? And yeah, I think their attention is just gonna be diverted. I think if Ken Carson leaves the Opium label, I'm not sure if he will be able to maintain his like creative direction same way. But of course, no one really knows the behind the scenes. I still think he should, but you know, it is what it is. I think they'll always be underneath Cardi, and there's no way they ever get bigger. Hot take or not, there will never be another Cardi, Uzi, Trippie, or Yeat. I think for every generation, there'll be artists like that. Ian's overhated. Yes, he copies Gucci and Future's flow a bit, but he does it in a hard way. People just hate him because they think he's an industry plant and that he's a TikTok rapper. I mean, I think that he gets hated on because he's white doing it. And yeah, he also is like, he kind of is an industry plant, man, but you know, who cares? To be honest though, and I went over this in the Tyler video, Ian's hate is just because he's white, and there's like a certain demographic of hip hop fans that just hate anything, you know, someone that looks like him does. So they just scrutinize it heavily. I feel like on top of that, a lot of the people who are hating on him are just much older and would never have listened to Ian in the first place. Another thing is he's getting a lot of comparisons to Post Malone and switching genres. You understand, Post Malone's White Iverson was huge. Ian is not even like close to that yet. So gotta still, you know, overcome that hump. Last one, because I'm getting tired, to be honest. Lil 88 isn't terrible. Pretty sure he primarily produced Overtime for Ken, so he has to be talented to a degree, and I feel like a lot of the hate he gets is just people hopping on a hate train rather than forming any of their own thoughts. So I spoke about this in the Lil 88 video I made. Okay, Lil 88 isn't like inherently a horrible producer. I just think that the way he carries himself on the internet, he's just asking for hate, especially knowing like that whole Opium fan base. Thing about him being talented, I don't know. I think he uses a lot of loops, so that means he does drums. If you're a producer, you know that, you know, one thing takes more talent than the other. His style isn't very unique. It's very, I know I talked about this in the Lone album review. It's literally just 808 Mafia's sound. It's not really his, so he's cool. He's a cool guy. He's like Ken's, you know, good friend from his younger. He just executive produced Lone's album. Clearly, he's not horrible. I don't think anyone's saying he's trash. I think he's just unlikable. You know what I mean? That's why he gets hate. It's as simple as that. Let me do some more. Okay, sorry, what did I just say? Let me do some more because I'm not actually that tired. Let me see. I still think 1000 Man Fani is better than Lucky. He just needs that TikTok push and people will forget about Lucky. Negative 20 minutes later. I still like Lucky, but he's had like 2 different blowups in the last 8 years, or Fani barely had even half a blow up. This is the thing a lot of fans do. They blame like their favorite artist not succeeding on like random ass shit, like he didn't blow up. Why do you think he didn't blow up? You know what I mean? I don't know. To me, 1000 Man Fani, I don't really like even check out I was a fan of that guy like 2018. His music from 2016 to 2018. I forget he had this one song. It was produced by Filthy and 16-Year-Old. That song was cool too. No, I think his window is up. Certain artists, their window the ship has sailed, you know, unfortunately. So I think that's a bad take, to be honest. Lucky's music is low-key mid, and that's why he doesn't blow and keeps getting passed. All right, Lucky has blown the fuck up. So I don't know what you're talking about. Hot take, K-Suave is better than most mainstream artists. No, he's not. He's good though. I like his stuff. If Isaiah TG wasn't mentally ill, he would have been more mainstream, 100%. Hot take, Rich Amiri is more of a culture vulture than Ian. I'm not gonna get into the race thing. Glock 40 Spaz kind of fell off when he was in jail. He could make a comeback when he's free though. And like this reply said, he is more popular now than before going to jail. Yeah, Glock 40 Spaz blew up while he was in jail, and honestly, remaining relevant for like while you're locked up for like 2 years is crazy. And the fact that he recorded it all in such a short period of time is even crazier. So shout out to him. Homicide Gang is better than Lone at this point. All right, I gotta like ban you from commenting. I'm just kidding. I won't do it, but come on, bro. All right, last two. Osama-san and Netspend are fun, but their music is so simple and rinse and repeat. Their underground is rewarding mediocrity and laziness now more than ever. Even people like Xavier Sobase, who I enjoy, are clearly putting no effort into making actually good songs and instead flooding this page with mid songs made in 2 minutes until something hits. It's a great era for lazy rappers. Okay, so I wouldn't say Osama-san and Netspend are lazy. Like, they're definitely making a shit ton of music. And I think they do carefully curate their releases, as hard as it seems for this guy. I would say he has more of a point with Xavier, but I think Xavier Sobase is kind of just moving like he's always moved, just posted. He shit posts a lot on his, he just posts whatever. He doesn't really care too much about being super go ahead with those releases, with his releases on like SoundCloud. You know what I mean? He doesn't find, I wouldn't really call them lazy though. Last one. Osama-san isn't ever gonna get big because he's too generic and is quite literally just Ken Carson beats but with less instruments and more 808s. But I still mess with him though. Alright, so here's the thing. I feel like Ken Carson, okay, I feel like Osama-san is underneath that like Ken Carson umbrella, but I don't think he's a clone and I think he's gonna get out really quick. I feel like Osama-san he's gonna have to change his sound. And of course, Ken Carson, he's gonna have to change his A Great Chaos sound. Are they gonna be the exact same? No. I think the comparisons, only time will tell for really. But I don't think he's generic, and I don't think his beats are just Ken Carson beats. It's really just a couple of songs. The thing about Osama-san is he's actually really good. You know what I mean? And if you look at Ken Carson, when he was in Osama-san's position, Osama-san was better, to be real. And, they say like, oh, this is the dumbest thing to me about the whole Osama-san thing. If you think of Ken Carson's early beats, it was all like Starboy and Out of Town, and it was very like Pierre Bourne influence. It was like Cardi. You could just say, oh, he's just on Cardi beats, like, but he signed him, so no one would say that. So Ken Carson was not very creative, I mean, he was. His producers were. He had a cool sound, Phoenix, whatever, but wasn't like anything. Okay, actually, I just saw one. Okay, I saw two more that I want to do. Let's see if these are the last two, or I just lie again to you guys. Hot take: Lucky's new music gets worse and worse every album. All right, I said this and I got crucified in the comments. I mean, I had like 5 Mexican people DM me like, yo, bro, I mess with you, bro, but like, don't talk about Lucky like that. All right, guys. Sorry, apologize. But yeah, I agree. I think that his albums have gone, they're definitely hurt in quality. I think he peaked with like Free Wave 2 for me. That was my favorite Lucky album. Sorry, not Free Wave 2. Free Wave 3. That was my favorite. And Days Before 3. Those albums were like, oh shit, yeah, those are good. But I think that happens to every mainstream artist. They slowly start getting, a little. Rap hasn't been good since 2017. I feel like this is just nostalgia. You know what I mean? Oh my god. I actually went to the very bottom of the page. Can you believe that? Okay. Thanks for all the responses. I actually went through a lot more than I thought. If you want to be featured, I'm gonna try. Maybe I'll run this in like 2 or 3 more weeks. If you want to be on this, just make your post long, but not too long. Not like that one guy who I said, like, respectfully, I'm not reading all that, though I read it, but try to make it more thoughtful. Also try and make it an actual hot take. If you say like hot take and it's just some shit that everyone's gonna agree with, why would I go over it? I'm not trying to be rude or anything. Letting you know. But anyways, I appreciate everyone who commented. Let's maybe we can do some more of these. So yeah, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye. See you tomorrow.